Go ahead and get started here. It's about 5 o'clock, so I want to appreciate everybody showing up tonight. We got a nice agenda tonight, so if everybody could go ahead and stand, and we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag and the prayer.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this glorious day. We thank you for your love, your mercy, and your grace that you bestow on us day in and day out. Father, protect us all. Just cover us with your blood, and we just thank you for being the loving, wonderful, merciful God that you are. Father, give us as a council wisdom, give us strength, give us courage. Please offer those same to all of our residents here in Talbot County. Give them wisdom, strength, and courage to for them and their families to just be just to be a child of yours. We love you. We thank you. It's in Jesus' most precious and holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, like I said, I just want to welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get started here. On the agenda here, we have the agenda before us. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda
Mr.
at
Council
this time?
President, if I
Yes,
may,
sir.
I'd like to add an agenda item to today's agenda that's not on there after a meeting that I was at today. Looking to add an item to where we could send a letter to both our elections director here in Talbot County, as well as our local board of elections, just to ensure that they're in compliance with local election law. As you know, I've received numerous complaints from citizens in the community that it appears that they are not. So I'd like to add that as an agenda item, please.
Okay.
So I will make that as a motion.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay, I'll second that. Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Abstain.
Ms. Haith?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Where we would like to put that, Madam Secretary?
I would say probably after the presentation by Talbot County Public Schools.
Okay. So that is 5, 6, 7, 8. Should that be number 9 then? Is that what it would be?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All righty. Okay, good. Okay. Let's move on. So next would be the minutes of August 13th and August 27th. The council's had a chance to take a look at the minutes. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes? Okay. Hearing none, the chair moves that the minutes be accepted as unanimous consent. Okay. Next are the disbursements of September 17th and September 24th, and council's had a chance to take a look at those. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the disbursements, council?
No.
Okay. Hearing none, the chair moves that the disbursements be accepted as unanimous consent. Okay, great. So first on the agenda is going to be our proclamation of Frederick Douglass, because Frederick Douglass Day is coming up Saturday. Madam Secretary, could you read that into the record, please?
Certainly. Proclamation, Frederick Douglass Day, 2024. Whereas the Frederick Douglass Honor Society, founded in 2009, is dedicated to preserving the legacy of Talbot County's native son, Frederick Douglass, born into slavery during the year 1818, and against all odds became one of the most famous men in history. And whereas Frederick Douglass became a newspaper editor, a political activist, statesman, champion of women's rights, especially their right to vote, a brilliant strategist, newspaper owner, and author of The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, known to have had the most powerful impact on the American abolitionist movement. And whereas Frederick Douglass's life spanned the Civil War, the end of slavery, and the beginning of segregation, celebrated internationally as the leading black intellectual of his time, His story continues to resonate today and inspire people around the world. And whereas Frederick Douglass's talents and determination helped leave an enduring mark upon our history and a ranking among such prominent figures as Abraham Lincoln, W.E.B. Du Bois, Susan B. Anthony, and Martin Luther King, Jr. And whereas 11 years ago, the Frederick Douglass Honor Society founded the annual Frederick Douglass Day celebration in partnership with the town of Easton, Talbot County, and the Talbot County Free Library, local businesses, and community leaders. And whereas the Talbot County Council encourages all members of the community and beyond to take advantage of the numerous Frederick Douglass Day activities, including a parade, welcoming ceremony, the fun-filled children's village, live entertainment, lecture, book signings, and an abundance of opportunities to learn about our native son, Frederick Douglass, and Talbot County's rich history. Now therefore, we, the County Council of Talbot County, do hereby declare Saturday, September 28th, 2024, as Frederick Douglass Day in Talbot County, and encourage all businesses and community members to join the Frederick Douglass Honor Society on this day in remembrance and celebration of Frederick Douglass, one of our nation's greatest patriots. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County this 24th day of September in the year of our Lord, 2024.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Good job. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to go ahead and put it and present this in the record. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky? Aye. Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, I think we got Mr. Robinson. You want to come on up here? You can sit there. Yes, sir. Yep. Welcome.
Hello.
How you doing?
All
Go-
right.
You want to go ahead and introduce yourself and just say a few words? That'd be good.
My name is Edward Robinson, but everybody knows me as Boots, and I am the Vice President of our Frederick Douglass Honor Society.
That's great. That's great.
I'm Dana Newman. I'm the board member for the Frederick Douglass Honor Society, and I'm also part of the library.
Okay, that's great. Would you like to go ahead and just tell us a little bit about what to look for Saturday and when it starts and that kind of stuff?
Yes, we.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
I can do it. So we have a wonderful bunch of activities to really remember the impact that Frederick Douglass had on not only Talbot County, but really throughout the world. I mean, he was a well-traveled man, and he had an impact wherever he went. So we want to make sure that not only Talbot County, but it's really a regional day. People come from all over the Eastern Shore, and we know people from the Western Shore that are coming over for the day as well. So we start with the welcoming ceremony at the courthouse, and we have a number of speakers there. And then we go from the welcoming ceremony. I forgot one of the most important things, the parade, which is wonderful. So please come out for the parade because it's a great day. Then we have from 11 to 3 the Children's Village, which is in the courtyard of the library, and there's all kinds of things there. But this is really about learning about Frederick Douglass's impact. At 1 o'clock at the library, we have Kedrick Roy, who is a speaker from Harvard, and he's going to talk about Frederick Douglass. He has recently written a book about Frederick Douglass. So there's a lot going on, and it's a really great day for families and kids of all ages. But it's really something that the library has supported every year and has been a part of, and we really enjoy working with the Frederick Douglass Honor Society on this. It's just a wonderful day.
Okay, well, that's great. So, council?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have the privilege of attending the parade pretty much every year. Will not be able to attend this year. However, this is a great event, and you have a lot of activities throughout the day, and I always enjoy attending. So congratulations on setting up another wonderful program this year on Saturday.
You know, I fully support the parade and everything else, and encourage all the citizens to attend. Frederick Douglass is one of our #1 citizens, and he deserves our respect and celebration.
I want to thank you for your considerable efforts in putting this together this year and every year. I too am looking forward to it. I will be there on Saturday morning to learn myself and to see what all you've put together. So thank you for all your efforts on this front.
I'll just add, it's wonderful to be a part of this community that has so much rich history in it. It just shows, how deeply just involved we are here at Talbot County, how loved we are. I mean, what much this is a great place to live, work, and play. Just how far we've come and how Mr. Douglass can help us tell that story to where we're at as a nation now is just fabulous. So thank you for the work you're doing. Keep it up, and looking forward to another success.
And just so you know, I think you have a sneak peek of the brochure, so
Yes.
you have the first eyes on the brochure, just so you know.
Yep, it looks great, and I'll just add to that, I'm looking forward to being there, and me and Mr. Letcher will say a few words, and, it's a privilege to do something like that with such a honorable man, and worldwide, so to speak, so I'm looking forward to it too. So, okay, we got something for you if you want to come on up.
Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Okay, that was great. We got another one. Colonel Tench from the next proclamation is Colonel Tench, Tilghman Week. Madam Secretary? I'm sorry.
Tench, not French.
Kent. What is it? Okay, okay, all right. It's the language. It's the language.
Proclamation, Colonel Tench Tilghman Week. Whereas Tench Tilghman was born in Talbot County on December 25th, 1744, on Fawsley Creek, a branch of the Miles River, and whereas Tench Tilghman received his early education in Easton and St. Michael's and his formal education at the College, Academy, and Charitable School of Philadelphia, founded by Benjamin Franklin, after which he went into business with his uncle, Matthew Tilghman, who served as a delegate from Maryland to the Continental Congress from 1774 through 1776. And whereas Tench Tilghman dissolved his business partnership with his uncle, quote, upon the breaking out of the troubles to share the fate of his country, end quote. And from 1775 to 1776 was commissioned as a captain of an independent company known as the Flying Camp, formed by George Washington and comprised of a group of militiamen from the colonies of Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Delaware to serve and protect citizens in case of an invasion. And whereas Tench Tilghman served as General George Washington's aide-de-camp and personal secretary for 7 years, from 1776 to 1783, refusing compensation for the entirety of his service to General Washington, but standing by his side in nearly every battle in which General Washington participated. And whereas Tench Tilghman was entrusted to carry the official word of Lord Cornwallis's surrender in Yorktown, Virginia, on October 19, 1781, to the Continental Congress in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on October 24, 1781, for which Congress awarded him a horse properly caparisoned and an elegant sword in testimony of their high opinion of his merit and ability. And whereas Tench Tilghman sacrificed his time, energy, fortune, family, and health in support of the cause of American independence and freedom. Now therefore, we, the members of the County Council of Talbot County, do hereby declare October 19th to the 24th Colonel Tench Tilghman Week in Talbot County, and encourage citizens to honor his accomplishments and to remember his contributions to the cause of establishing a new nation based upon the principles of liberty and freedom, which the residents of Talbot County continue to enjoy nearly 250 years later. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County, this 24th day of September in the year of our Lord, 2024.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. Good job. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to go ahead and present that into the record. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, I think, do we have somebody to represent here? Is it Mr. Hagood?
I'm Haygood.
Haygood, Haygood, that's good. Haygood. If everybody could just introduce herself again, that would be great.
I'm Conway Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
Dana Newman from the library.
And Wesley Haygood from the Colonel Tench Tilghman chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution.
Okay, that's great. Welcome.
And I'm also with the Sons of the American Revolution.
Okay.
I guess I'll begin since I'm on the right. No, I'm the left. First of all, representing the Maryland Society Sons of the American Revolution, Colonel Tench Tilghman chapter, which covers the counties of Kent, where I live, Queen Anne, Talbot, and Caroline counties. I want to thank you for this proclamation. Tench Tilghman, as you know, is one of America's greatest and one of the most unsung heroes of the Revolution. As it says in the proclamation, he served with Washington from 1776, beginning with the Battle of Brooklyn Heights, all the way to 1781, with the conclusion of the military phase of the Revolution at Yorktown. And while it's not recorded, I am a strong believer that when Washington was putting together his strategy for each of his campaigns against Cornwallis, Burgoyne, the Clinton brothers, that in each one of those campaigns, I'm sure he turned to his aide-de-camp and his personal secretary, the only one who served the entire length of time with him, 1776 to 1783, and probably sought his advice and his counsel. Do you think this will work? And so Tench Tilghman, in my mind, is one of our greatest revolutionary fathers. And we have four types of fathers: the revolutionary fathers, the founding fathers, the molding fathers, and the enabling fathers, who have all made this country great. And Tench Tilghman stands with them. And so I'm here to say thank you for your support for this week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I think Conway's done a great job in explaining why we believe that Mr. Tilghman, Colonel Tilghman, should be honored. What I'd like to do is just talk about why we picked these particular dates, the 19th of October through the 24th of October. So let me just say this. These were historically significant dates. October 19th was the date that Charles Lord Cornwallis surrendered his British Army to George Washington's Continental Army in Yorktown, Virginia. And of course, Washington wanted to get this news to the Continental Congress meeting in Philadelphia as quickly as possible. This was a major victory. So he chose his trusted aide-de-camp, Colonel Tench Tilghman, to carry the news to Philadelphia where the Congress was meeting. Tilghman left early the next morning, so that would have been the 20th, and he arrived in Philadelphia 5 days later at about 2 a.m. on October 24th. So that's why we want this week to be celebrated as Colonel Tench Tilghman Week. Now, Washington chose Tilghman because he knew the area intimately, right? He was from Maryland and the Eastern Shore. And he knew that Tilghman would find the quickest route to get the word to Philadelphia. But he also wanted to honor and reward Tilghman as Conway said, his longest-serving aide-de-camp for his hard work and his faithful service to Washington, to the cause of liberty and freedom. And although the war did not end for 2 more years, this was a major victory, and it was really the beginning of the end of the war. You could sort of say the last 2 years were the mopping up exercise to clear the British out of the forts in the South. That's really all that was. It was over, in essence. They couldn't be resupplied anymore without Cornwallis. So in a letter that George Washington penned to the Continental Congress that Tilghman delivered, this is what he said. Sir, and he's addressing Thomas Keene, the president of the Continental Congress, I have the honor to inform Congress that a reduction of the British Army under the command of Lord Cornwallis is most happily effected. Colonel Tilghman, one of my aides-de-camp, will have the honor to deliver these dispatches to your excellency. He will also inform you of every minute circumstance which is not particularly mentioned in my letter. His merits, which are too well known to need my observations at this time, have gained my particular attention, and could wish that they may be honored with a notice of your excellency and Congress. So I would like to say, if George Washington believed that Tilghman deserved honor due to his merits and his role during the war, who are we to disagree? So Congress did choose to do as Washington requested, to honor Colonel Tilghman by providing him with a horse, a saddle, a bridle, and an elegant sword. And that sword today is in the Maryland State House in Annapolis. It's right next to a portrait of Washington, Lafayette, and Colonel Tench Tilghman there at Yorktown to recognize the great victory that occurred over Lord Cornwallis. And that was painted by Charles Wilson Peale. It was the first portrait that was commissioned by Maryland for the sort of state archives, if you want to think of it that way. It was very difficult for Tench Tilghman to make this 5-day journey. It's not like he'd just hop in a car and drive to Philadelphia, right? Because he was still recovering from a fever, which they believe was likely caused by malaria. But he didn't fail to do his duty, and he would not pass up performing this prestigious assignment for his beloved commander. So he took a boat from Yorktown up to Annapolis. Then he took a ship from Annapolis to the eastern shore, and he arrived at Rock Hall. He then traveled the rest of the way to Philadelphia on a horse, riding day and night to take the news to Congress. And when the horse got too tired to travel any further, he would stop at a farm and cry out, "A horse for the Congress, a horse for the Congress." And the farmer would typically oblige and give him a fresh horse after he explained that Cornwallis had been taken. So after informing Thomas Keene, the president of Congress, of the good news, and this was in the middle of the night, they started ringing the bells in Philadelphia. Lights started going off, or on, I should say, lanterns, I suppose, all over the town, and the people came out of their houses and began celebrating in the middle of the night. But Tilghman was so ill that he had to be put to bed for several days, and because he had no money, the congressmen in Philadelphia had to take up a collection to pay his room and board while he recovered. The illness that he contracted during the harsh living conditions that he experienced during the war led to his really early and untimely death at age 42. He left behind a wife, Anna Maria Tilghman, and a daughter, and his wife was pregnant, and so he had a second daughter that he would never meet. Therefore, as you all have agreed, I think it's only fitting that we should remember Tilghman and honor him because he sacrificed his time, his energy, his fortune, his family, and even his health in support of the cause of freedom and American independence. Now, as part of our mission, it's to educate and inspire future generations about the founding principle of our country. The Colonel Tench Tilghman chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution, we've sponsored an educational event in partnership with the library, and that's going to occur at the Talbot County Free Library in Easton on Saturday, October 26th. We have Mr. Owen Lowry, who is a historian with the Maryland State Archives. He'll be coming over to make a presentation titled Voices of the Maryland 400, Maryland's Revolutionary War Soldiers at the Battle of Brooklyn in 1776. And as Conway mentioned, the Maryland soldiers played a key role in that battle, and actually in several battles. George Washington credited the Maryland soldiers with saving his army on multiple occasions so that they could live to fight another day. And when Lowry's there, he's not only going to talk about the battle and the role that Maryland's troops will play, but he's going to talk about Tench Tilghman's observations during the battle and any role Tilghman played during the battle. Tilghman had just joined George Washington's family 3 weeks earlier. So, and this was the first major campaign, really, where there was a real clash. And it was the longest battle in the Revolutionary War, just to let you know. So I would like to thank you for considering our request and hope that you'll all vote in support to declare October 19th to 2024 as Colonel Tench Tilghman Week.
Okay.
And our vision is to start with this one event this year, but very similar to the Frederick Douglass Day, to have multiple events in future years during that week or thereabouts to educate the people in this county about our local hero, Colonel Tench Tilghman.
Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
great. We appreciate it. Yep. Okay.
I'll just add a few things.
Yep.
I think the library really believes in celebrating our heritage, especially our local heritage. And when we can find local heroes to celebrate, we're all about making sure that everybody in the community is aware of those heroes.
Right.
We celebrated and we honored heroes earlier this month from 9/11. And I think it's important to make sure that we're honoring the past as well. Thanks.
I agree. Mr. Stepp?
No, again, I mean, I love the fact that, again, we have this rich history here in Talbot County. We have, certain individuals that we can celebrate that not only just, again, to celebrate how we got to where we are today, but just tell our history, right? The good, the bad. I mean, everything of how we became where we are and how we became such a great nation that we are today. So thank you again for what you're doing. And, again, keep it up. Thank you.
Well, as a direct descendant of Tench Tilghman through his second daughter, I'm certainly grateful to you for highlighting his work, his contribution to our liberty. And it's certainly appropriate that this be done in Talbot County. As you mentioned, his birth at Fawsley. There's a marker out by Villa Road. Fawsley no longer stands, but there's a historical marker to note near where it stood. He's also, of course, buried down in Oxford, in the Oxford Cemetery, which was originally the Tilghman family plot, part of his widow's home, Plimhimmon, on the edge of Oxford. So we have him well represented. We can truly call him a native son of our soil. Thank you for highlighting this.
Thank you, Mr. Felicia.
Well, I can't improve on that. But thank you for all you do, and looking forward to the celebration and hearing the lectures and learning more. As an American Studies major, I know about Tench Tilghman, but it's always good to know more. Like, was he the one who created Route 301?
Not that I'm aware of.
That was a joke. That's the way from here to Philadelphia.
I got you.
Ms. Milky has jokes today.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I always knew that October the 19th was a historical and special day because I was born on that day too. So I like this week, this chosen week. But I thank you for the history lesson, and certainly appreciate, that we could recognize Colonel Tench Tilghman, and really learned a lot about the history, but celebrate his faithfulness and the history that's here in Talbot County. So thank you for coming in today. Greatly appreciate it, and look forward to the celebrations that will take place the 19th through the 24th.
Yes, sir. Okay, you guys want to come on up?
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So next on the agenda is one more proclamation. It's Suicide Prevention Month. Madam Secretary, could you read that into the record, please?
Proclamation, no matter what, you matter, Suicide Prevention Month. Whereas in the United States, one person dies by suicide every 11 minutes, even though most of these deaths are preventable. And whereas 49,476 people in the United States, including 608 people in Maryland, died by suicide in 2022, as reported by the Centers for Disease Control, with each death affecting an average of 115 people. And whereas in Maryland, suicide is the second leading cause of death for 10 to 14-year-olds and the third leading cause of death for ages 15 through 34, with more Marylanders dying by suicide than by homicide each year. And whereas, according to the 2021 Youth Risk Behavior Survey conducted by local school systems in coordination with the CDC, in the 12 months prior to the 2021 survey, the suicide rate in Maryland's rural midshore region was 40% higher than the state average, with 18% of Talbot County teens reporting to have seriously considered attempting suicide. And whereas many individuals experiencing suicidal thoughts and behaviors or who die by suicide never received effective behavioral health services for many reasons, including the difficulty of assessing the services of healthcare providers professionally trained to reduce suicide risk and the stigma of seeking treatment. Now therefore, we, the Talbot County Council, do hereby urge all Talbot County citizens to recognize suicide as a significant public health risk and declare suicide prevention and mental health support a priority, and support the development of accessible behavioral health services for all citizens of our county in an effort to reduce the risk of suicide and mental health challenges for people of all ages and backgrounds. And further, we, the Talbot County Council, do hereby declare the month of September as No Matter What, You Matter, Suicide Prevention Month, and urge all citizens to actively work toward the prevention of suicide and to reach out to one another and ask, are you okay? Listen without judgment and share vital resources to promote an inclusive and mentally healthy community. Given under our hands the Great Seal of Talbot County, this 24th day of September in the year of our Lord, 2024.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to go ahead and put that into the record. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, you guys want to come on up from For All Seasons? Welcome, guys. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure, Beth Ann Dorman, I'm the president and CEO at For All Seasons. It's great to be back with you.
Yep.
Hi, my name is Josie Wenzel. I'm the marketing and outreach coordinator at For All Seasons.
Oh, that's great. Great. You want to go ahead and tell us a little bit how things are going, and hopefully it's all positive.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. You know, we are grateful to be with you. You all have been such a support as we have been working really hard across the 5 Midshore counties, but especially right here in Talbot County, to be able to build services and make sure that as we hit months like Suicide Prevention Month, we are able to bring to you a report of how things are shifting in this ever-changing time in mental health. And you know, what I can tell you is our program that we launched about 18 months ago, our open access program, is continuing to work within our community. No longer do we have wait lists of 6, 12, 18 months for mental health services. We are continuing to bring in, on an average, between 24 and 26 new clients each week with our walk-in services. People are able to walk in 5 days a week, telehealth 5 days a week, no wait list. They get their mental health assessment that day. They're connected to psychiatry within 5 days. And that's a really different message than what I was able to bring to you even 3 years ago. You know, back then it was, we knew this was an issue and we were really trying hard to figure out how to get people in when the crisis was happening. And so the good news is the new program and the way that we're doing business differently in our community is working. We still have the struggle of trying to really work differently within our community to continue to believe that Suicide is an ongoing issue. You know, we hear about the homicides all the time on the nightly news. We're not hearing about the suicides. And to know that more Marylanders are dying from suicide than homicide, my hope is that folks are going to pay attention to that statistic and know that it really does impact each one of us. We know that when someone dies by suicide, there's 135 people that are affected, and that's on the low end. And so recognizing that each one of us knows someone, whether it's a friend, a family member, a coworker, someone in our past who has taken their lives by suicide, is really an important point for us to bring to all of you today. And I want to give Josie an opportunity to talk a little bit about our Ask, Listen, and Share campaign.
Yeah, so just again, we really are encouraging everyone to check in on the people in their lives regularly, inside this room, but outside these walls as well. So ask them how they are feeling. Listen carefully and without judgment. You really never know what someone is going through, and if we all take this time to reach out, to listen, and to connect with people to these resources, we can help save lives. Thank you.
And that's a message
That's
that we
great
not
message.
only are bringing to the community, but I was fortunate enough to be able to work with all of our PE and our health teachers in the Talbot County Public Schools in preparation of helping to build their new curriculum. So our agency is sharing out this message within the Talbot County schools to really reach our child population, because we do know that that is the highest level of suicide that we are seeing. And I also want to just call attention to a program that we have been working within all of our first responder community to really make sure that mental health services are embedded into our first responder community and within our veterans. So 2 new programs that For All Seasons has been working on and launching to really make sure that we're taking care of our first responders who are there in every situation for our community and for the veterans who have served and come back and still need to be taken care of as they've taken care of us.
That's great. That's great. Well, counsel?
Yeah, so,
Yep.
of course, thank you for all the work that you do in the mental health arena. You know, certainly your open access program, I refer a lot of people to that program, and the report that I get back is that it's working for them. I had a relative that lost her 40-year-old daughter last year and referred her to For All Seasons, and therapy is truly helping her through her grief. So you're exactly right. We know a lot of people, you know, or we know people in our lives that have committed suicide, and it's real at every age, from the young and to the old. You know, it breaks my heart to hear stories of someone that's 80 years old that would want to take their own life. But it is a reality, and we have to be better listeners. And really, like you said, no judgment, and just try and get them the resources that we need, because this is something that's very real in our community. So thank you.
Having had one of my best friends be one of those 608 that died of suicide in 2022, I'm pleased to proclaim this month. And even though he had family and friends that communicated to him all the time that he mattered, so many people didn't see it. And again, his problem was that he was a Vietnam vet. And so it's good to see that you're expanding your services to include those veterans, because you know, they learn to put up a wall, and it's hard to see what's really going on with them, and for even the people who love them the most to help. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you for sharing.
Yep.
I know personally about the impact of the work that you're doing in the community, and want to thank you for it. You are saving lives. You are literally saving lives, and that is so impactful, not only for the lives you save, but as you point out, for all the lives that those lives are connected to throughout this community. Thank you for that work. Your work is more visible than ever. Clearly, you are growing your capacity, and we can all be grateful for that.
Thank you.
Speaking of your work being visible, thank you for the billboard out on Route 50.
You're more than
I've seen
welcome.
that, so it's good that your message is getting out there. I'd like to just revisit 2 things that you said, Ms. Beth Ann, that you're more than right. It's not very far that anybody probably in this room needs to look before they realize that how they've been affected by suicide. So thank you for pointing that out. but also thank you for pointing out that, the job is not done. The job's probably never going to be done. So thank you for keeping up in the fight, and because like I said, we're still always going to have work to go. So thank you for staying in there.
Thank you.
And I'll just add to that, what you guys said was so, so important. Everybody's been touched by a situation, and me personally. So what you're saying about listen to the person, that's probably the nuts and bolts of everything, because there's always red flags and clues going on, and really people need to take that very serious. And and what happens is when you take it serious, you might have to go around that person to call somebody or help somebody or get them to where they need to be. But, don't take that lightly. That's for sure, because it can happen in an instant, and I've seen it. I've carried my best friend out of a building that took his life, so I know what that's all about. And it's not fun, and it impacts hundreds of people. So if there's an incident that you can stop it, sometimes you can't. But if there's a moment that you can help or call somebody or something, please do that, because it means a lot. They might not like it, but you might save a life. That's for sure, because so really appreciate what you guys do. It's very, very important, the job that you do save lives, and we could go on all night with this, but I can tell you that we need people like you, because when it really comes down to it and something does happen, you're there for them and the families, not only just that person that took their life, but you're also there for that family, which means a lot, and you're there for months and years with those people. So we really appreciate the dedication, the hard work, and it's tough. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. We got something for you. That's a good thing. Yep, thank you. Okay. Yep. Okay, next on the agenda is the Talbot County Public School FY26 Capital Improvement Plan. One of my favorite people is coming up here, and he loves doing this. Loves it. So, how you doing, Kevin? How you doing?
I'm well.
You're good?
Thank you very much.
Okay, good. Okay, all right, that's good.
So thank you very much,
yeah.
President Callahan, members of the council and staff. So I have a brief presentation for you.
I love the word brief.
Yes, I know. The council does.
It's at the bottom, right there.
So I come before the council this evening to request consideration of the FY26 Capital Improvement Plan. The entire CIP document has been provided, and my brief presentation tonight focuses on the second year of construction funding request related to Chapel District Elementary School renovation and addition project. So the first slide tonight is just pulled from the CIP document, and it's Form 102B from the IAC, and basically just the most important points are highlighted in yellow, the 11.084 million already allocated from the state to the project, and then in green, the 2.273 million that I'm requesting to complete that state portion of the funding for the project. I also included, although it's not mandatory to submit as part of the CIP, but just a summary of future projects. And in blue, obviously priority one is the FY26 funding for Chapel. But below that, Just wanted to quickly run through those for the council so that the council's aware of the state-funded projects that it'll be looking at in future subsequent fiscal years. So the Easton Middle School roof in FY27, it has reached its life expectancy, and it's actually past its life expectancy, so we are trying to replace that in FY27 and 28 and 29. Easton Middle School and Easton High School HVAC replacements. In FY30, we'd be looking to do some repointing at the Easton Middle School. The brick exterior is in need of some work. And then lastly, item priority number 6 there, just to put on the horizon for the council in FY31 or 32, somewhere in there, we would be looking to start the process of talking about renovating Easton High School. Full funding for Easton High School wouldn't take place until 2037, but it's going to be a very large project. It's obviously going to require lots of planning from the council's portion and from the state. So there's a feasibility and ed spec process that we'd have to go through that would take probably multiple years. So once again, the council has asked that Ms. Jones and I put together more of a comprehensive capital improvement list as part of the budget process. So this is just kind of notifying the state of upcoming projects that I'm going to be asking for during the budget process. You'll see a duplication of this in addition to some local projects that are coming on the horizon. But for FY26, the current year that we're looking to submit this CIP, there's no additional funds because the council has been gracious enough to allocate the necessary funding for chapel. So this is simply just a request to the state for that balance of funding. And like I said, just a horizon snapshot for what we're looking at in the future.
Okay.
So with all of that
Okay.
said,
Yep.
if there's any questions, I can try and answer any questions the council may have.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a footnote in there somewhere. Those figures all had 3 zeros added onto the end.
Yeah, so the IEC likes to see those. They don't want to see in the spreadsheet small, so they don't want to see the full number. So it's in thousands. So
Yeah.
you know, when you're looking at a 300, it's really 300,000. So yeah.
And this is this extends the CIP out one more year, of an additional year of projection. So we've seen these other figures before in previous years.
Correct.
Capital improvement plans.
Correct. So yeah, so nothing has changed from the council's perspective related to chapel, and really this request, that's all it's about, is the second year of
Right.
chapel's funding. So the amount associated for the local portion has not changed in any way.
Okay. Any other questions, council? Okay, all right. Do I have a motion to go ahead and put this capital plan as presented?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
All right, good job, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, Madam Secretary, would be, our new add-on would be the letter to the election.
Yes.
Yep.
Sure. Would you like me to speak on that, Council President?
Yes, sir.
Sure. So, the council, the genesis of this request is as a follow-through from today's Board of Elections special meeting that they had. I was asked to attend. Council President Callahan was also able to attend and witness some of the some of the items we saw today, which to me are personally very concerning. I feel like I feel like there's certain aspects of election law that are trying to be skirted here from both an elections director for Talbot County, as well as the majority of members of our Talbot County Elections Board. So what my request here is quite simple. It's just it would just be a reminder to or to send a letter expressing that to both our director of elections as well as our elections department, our elections board here in Talbot County, that we remind them to make sure they're following election law, specifically items 10-201 and 10-202, both of which are reflective of the balance of partisan judges, both Republican and Democrat in our polling places. And then, yeah, we just want to, I'd like to also express in there that the genesis of this letter is that we've received numerous citizen concerns. I've received numerous citizen concerns of this imbalance. So I'd like to just basically send a letter again to the elections director here in Talbot County, as well as the Talbot County Board of Elections, just reminding them to make sure they're paying attention to election law as we are in this election cycle.
Okay, that sounds great. And like Mr. Stepp said, I was there this morning, and it was concerning. The board and the director obviously weren't connecting too well, and it was concerning. And like Dave said, at the end of the day, they're not following the law. At the end of the day.
So we're being asked to intervene between the board and the director?
Not just intervene. It's basically a notice of citizen concern here in Talbot County. So I'd like to represent our citizens well and send that letter to those who I've mentioned to remind them that they are under oath to uphold the state election law. So that would be what I would like to do.
What was the action of the election board today?
Well, there was a motion made. If we want to get into the details here, there was a motion made to send a letter to the to the citizens of Talbot County about the compliance within 10-201 and 10-202. Only one board member had voted yes. I mean, it was a lackluster second of a motion or a second motion, but once it made it to a vote, they decided to not do that. So my biggest concern here is that it's not a transparent process. The breakdown of election judges currently, there's 123 judges to be named here in Talbot County. Currently there's 62 Democrat judges, 50 Republican judges, and 11 unaffiliated. So the makeup of the two primary parties is not even at this moment. We'd like to make sure that, again, especially in 10-201 where that's called out, that we make sure that that is where it needs to be. 10-202 calls out election judges that are outside of the county, which is allowable in certain situations. But we have a situation here in Talbot County where there are folks from the underrepresented party who are waiting to be called on as election judges, and those calls are not being returned. They're being told that they're being asked to, or they're being kept on file for the 2026 election. So why are we waiting 2 years when we have a stack of applicants who are ready and willing to serve right now?
So the Board of Elections, with the information that they have and the expertise that they have in this area, didn't feel the need to take action.
I only witnessed one board member who even represents this as being an actual concern, which it's very black and white. If you read 10-201 and 10-202, it's a requirement by Maryland election law, and I feel like that process is just trying to be circumvented for a myriad of reasons.
Well, I understand your concern. That's a serious allegation, and but I'm not sure that I could substitute my lower level of expertise here for the judgment and command of the data that the Board of Elections has to take action. And I'm not sure exactly what we would accomplish by doing so.
Well, it's for them to take action, right? So we have to uphold our duty and our oath to represent our citizens, right, and protect their rights and freedoms, as well as follow the laws of Maryland. So I don't think this is asking a very much or as a very heavy lift. It's a simple letter reminding both our elections board as well as our elections director to make sure they're following state law. If we have a problem with that, I think there's a much larger problem at hand here, and we wouldn't be representing our citizens according to our oath. So with that, I'll make that as a motion that we send such letter as discussed. So there's a motion.
I have a question.
Okay. Sure.
So,
Yep.
in regards to the letter, I guess the concern that I have is that the citizens, typically when we get information to propose some type of letter, first and foremost, we normally have the draft before us so that we can review it before signing, you know, our name individually on the letters. And then second, the constituents typically, if it's something that they have a concern about, would normally send it to all 5 of us, either be it together as the full council or as individuals. And so for me, in full transparency and honesty, upholding the oath of the Word of God that I put my hand on, I cannot sign on to a letter that I haven't received any type of information regarding this going on or any constituent complaint. However, if there are constituents that have seen this behavior, I do think that they should send that information at least to council staff, the secretary, so that we have a record, you know, that documents these complaints, because normally we put them all together and we are privy to the constituent complaints, and we have it for us to see. So full disclosure and transparency with that would be great.
I can certainly speak to that, and obviously the reason that this is being brought up as an agenda item today, right, is because we don't meet again until another several weeks here, and with the elections just be getting ready to getting ready to start here in 1 month in person, I want to make sure we get that letter over and give our Board of Elections time to address that. So that way they can get folks trained sufficiently and everything, and that's why I'm making a very specific motion for a very specific action in this letter. I believe it's very timely that we do, that we do this, because if we miss the opportunity today, I feel like it's going to be a totally missed opportunity. Again, that's why the motion is very specific, asking for just those 2 items. Number 1, we receive citizen concerns. Number 2, we're asking you to follow election law, and specifically 10-201 and 10-202. I don't want there to be any, I feel there needs to be no other information in that letter other than those 2 points, and that's what the letter should be.
But what council members have received the citizens' concern? Is it the full council?
I know I have. I was there today and witnessed it myself, and as a
Right.
voter, I feel, like we have some very serious concerns. Again, Councilmember Callahan was
Right.
there as well.
Right.
Witnessed this too, so I believe this letter needs to be sent sooner than later.
What's
And
the recommendation of our county attorney? Do you have any recommendation? I know you're just getting this as well, but is there any recommendation?
I'm just getting this as well. I mean, I don't see an issue with the letter to indicate council members have received these citizens' concerns and wish to express them to the board.
Well, that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Witnessing what was going on this morning was concerning, okay? There's one thing us 5 don't want to do is meddle into an election. That's not what we're here for,
I think
okay?
that's what you're doing.
I don't think so
it's
at
the
all.
exact opposite. I think it's
Absolutely
preventing
not.
an election.
Absolutely not. And that is absolutely not. I'm just concerned. I'm sitting here as president, and it was very, very concerning to me. And all we're doing is giving our concerns with a letter. That's all we're doing.
Who oversees the election board? Is that a state or local?
They're
Oversight.
they are appointed by the state.
State oversight.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be the proper order, Patrick, in that? Is this more of a attorney general issue? Is this a council matter? I mean, definitely, yeah, local elections.
Sure.
Could we invite Tammy in?
I would personally love to have that
Or the
in an
executive
open
director.
session. But again,
Something of
in
those
order
nature.
to get something rolling in that meantime, and to allow her and the board to make, law-abiding decisions regarding this upcoming election, I believe we need to act today. I believe we do not have time to do that otherwise.
I don't see any harm within that letter saying we would like to see her right here and ask her questions. I don't see any problem with that.
I don't either. I mean, if you'd like to make that as a addition to the motion, I'd be fine with adding that as a 3rd item in the letter.
I don't feel like I've got enough information to be able to act on this tonight.
And I think it's, with all due respect to the 2 councilmen, I think it's sort of based on hearsay and interpretation of what they saw and
This is
heard.
no hearsay.
Yeah, no hearsay. I was
No
there.
hearsay.
Shep was there.
And you're tainting the public's view of this election. So I agree with,
So we just don't bring it up at all then, right?
no, we don't bring it up in the letter. We have other options.
So
I
it's,
think.
it's my duty to just go through this meeting
I'm
this
not going to get
morning.
into a debate with you.
No, I'm just
Mr.
telling you,
President.
I'm just asking you. So what you're saying is that I went to a meeting and it was concerning to me as president of the council with this election, and I don't say anything. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm
Well,
not.
say what you, repeat what you said.
I'm not going to get into a debate with you.
Okay,
It's
that's
hearsay,
fine.
and that's it.
It wasn't hearsay.
Is there a motion on the table?
Yep,
There is
Is
a
there-
motion on the table.
and I'll second it.
I'll offer a substitute motion that the matter be moved to the table.
Second?
Move to the table. Help me understand that.
That would allow us, that would table the matter for this meeting, allow us time to educate ourselves on this, and dispense with the matter for the time being.
We're just saying that we need more information and more of an investigation before we take
No, I
action.
understand that.
That's where we're coming from.
I understand that. Okay,
Well,
but don't tell me that it's hearsay, because I'm hearing it, okay? Because
Well,
that
it
makes,
is here
that just,
It's hearsay because we weren't there. You were there. That doesn't mean,
so I'm not debating you, but
hearsay.
what I'm telling you,
I'm
you
sorry.
feel like what I'm telling you, you don't believe.
I'm saying it's hearsay. That doesn't, hearsay does not imply
Okay, I
that it's not
understand.
believable.
Okay, we'll move on.
Mr. Council President,
Yeah.
if I could, I know we have several members in the audience who were there in addition today. I'm not sure if they are registered to speak at public comment, but I'm sure it would be beneficial for our council to hear any comment that they may have later today. So I'll adjust my motion to move
Okay.
this item
Okay,
to after public comment, if that's possible. To move the agenda item once more within our agenda today. Procedurally, is that possible?
I feel like we should vote on, but
Well, so you have a
Both
motion
motions.
that's been seconded, and then you
Yeah.
have a substitute
Yes.
motion
Yeah.
that's been
I
seconded.
think we need to roll call.
yeah,
For transparency
Yeah,
and clarity,
I
we
think-
need to
yeah,
do,
we need to.
yes, decency and in order.
so we got a motion seconded. So
So
right now, we got a motion.
What are we voting
Which
on? at
one?
this time?
Right now, we've got a motion on the floor
From Dave.
And a second.
from you
To send the letter.
to send the
That's the first
letter.
thing we're voting on.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the
Okay.
first thing we're gonna vote on, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
What's that? We're doing after first motion.
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Nay.
Ms. Milky?
Nay.
Ms. Hayes?
Nay.
Okay.
Okay, so now we've got another motion on the floor.
I think the second motion is moot.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
But you gotta withdraw it, right?
No.
What do you have to
I'll-
withdraw the motion?
I'll withdraw the substitute
Right,
motion.
exactly, yeah, I got you.
We already made the motion and the
Okay.
second, so that's
All right.
roll call or withdrawal it.
Okay, so, all right, we're going to go ahead and move on, okay? Next thing on the agenda is introduction of an administrative resolution. Madam Secretary?
A resolution of Talbot County, Maryland, the county authorizing the issuance and sale of consolidated public improvement general obligation bonds in a principal amount not exceeding $88,000 pursuant to the authority of Bill Number 1576 enacted by the County Council of Talbot County, Maryland on August 13, 2024, the public local law, Section 10-203 of the local government article of the annotated Code of Maryland, 2013 replacement volume as amended, the Enabling Act, and Section 623 of the Charter of Talbot County, Maryland, the Charter, the bonds to be designated Talbot County, Maryland General Obligation Bonds, St. Michael's Wastewater System Improvements, the net proceeds of the sale thereof to be used and applied for the public purpose of financing or refinancing rehabilitation improvements to certain wastewater facilities located within the county as more particularly described herein, together with financing or refinancing of the acquisition of all necessary property rights and equipment and related architectural, financial, legal, planning, and engineering expenses, prescribing the form and tenor of the bonds and the terms and conditions for the issuance and sale thereof at private sale to the United States of America, acting through Rural Utilities Service, United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, authorizing the consolidation of separate series of bonds into one or more bonds, providing for the prompt payment of the maturing principal of and interest on the bonds, covenanting to levy and collect all taxes necessary to provide for the payment of the principal of and interest on such bonds, subject to the limitations set forth in Section 614 of the county charter, and generally relating to the issuance, sale, and delivery of the bonds.
Okay, good job, Madam Secretary.
Well, I can help you out here a little bit. This is actually the final step, I guess, in.
It's been around for a while.
It has, it has. The final step in the, securing the loan with rural development, as the council is aware, I think at your August 13th meeting, you did adopt Bill 1576, which is basically the same information. Once the council has taken action on this, we will then move to work to close out all the loans and go through to closing with rural development. And this is something that we've already received the funding from St. Michael's to pay for this loan. So it'll actually be paid for after we close the loan.
Okay.
I think that I can't follow that. Martha Sparks, Finance Director for Talbot County. When we borrow funds from the federal government, they have a lot of requirements and legislation and resolutions that need to be passed, and this is, as Ray said, the final one, so that we can go ahead and proceed with closing and receive these funds.
Okay. Any questions, council?
No questions.
Okay.
No.
All right, let's go ahead and put this to bed here. So, Madam Secretary, is there a motion?
We need a show of hands to introduce.
Oh, that's right. Show of hands.
Introduced by council.
Yep.
And this is eligible for a vote?
Yep. Yep, Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, there you go. All right, Madam Secretary, next on the list there, introduction.
You want me to read it in its entirety?
I don't think so. You don't have to now.
Administrative resolution establishing a bicycle and pedestrian advisory committee.
Okay, all right. Mr. Lesher, you want to speak a few minutes about that?
I can say that this is, I made the request for our legal staff to draft this. This is in response to the workshop that we had during one of our summer meetings. Was asked that we put this together to advise council, as we have with other advisory boards, to ensure that we're getting input from representative groups around the county. The structure of this ensures that we've got geographical representation, that we've got representation from a number of disciplines, and that we have representation from, for example, the business community, the schools, the Farm Bureau, the Sheriff's Office, and so forth.
Sure.
So broad representation and getting input on bicycle and pedestrian safety projects.
Okay. All right, so we'll show of hands, introduction.
Introduced by council.
Okay.
And this is likewise eligible for a vote.
Okay. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
I guess next steps we'll work with staff to recruit the members for that committee.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay, let's move on the agenda. We got some more things to vote on. Eligible for vote. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read Bill 1578 into the record?
Bill number 1578, a bill to amend Chapter 56, Electrical Standards of the Talbot County Code for the purposes of requiring electricians to obtain electrical permits from the Office of Permits and Inspections before performing certain electrical work, to delete outdated language, and to increase the amount for fines to be imposed for certain violations of Chapter 56, and to amend Chapter 58, Enforcement of Code, for the purpose of exempting Chapter 56 from the provisions thereof.
Okay.
Mr. Callahan?
Yes, sir.
I've been approached with a citizen concern over the deletion of the language in here. Actually, two citizen concerns, but one concerned the deletion of the language, allowing a person who might have expertise in doing electrical work to do their work, to pull a permit, to get it inspected, to as long as has long been allowed. This is referred to in the title as outdated language, and perhaps in some eyes it is, but clearly there are members of our community who are going to be inconvenienced, cost burdened, made to hire work that they could be doing themselves, that would still get inspected, but not at their own hands, not using their own labor. And I wonder if that needs a second look, and if we need a little bit more time on this legislation, and
Sure, I
might
understand.
want to
You think
reconsider that provision.
Okay.
Yeah, I concur.
Okay.
I do too.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right, so you.
just more information.
Yeah, yeah. So Patrick, do you think it might be, because it is a complicated world when it comes to electrical and the electrical code and what state is asking the board to do.
Correct.
Okay, so we might want to ask a couple of the board members, the chair and vice chair, to come in here to explain to the council, to help you guys understand that some of this stuff is code stuff and safety things. So I'll be glad to push it to the next meeting or
Yeah, we
something.
can do that, and I can see if a couple of the board members can come
Yep.
in, and I can also explain some of the requirements for that.
Yeah, sure.
Next meeting.
Okay, that would be great.
And does that include a typical ceiling fan that somebody may install in their home? I'm curious though, because I mean, my
See,
husband
it's
installs
such a
actual fans.
fine.
Let's save that question
Yeah,
for the
let's
board.
save it. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm,
Yeah, because I'm just curious
But just
about
don't tell
that.
nobody, okay? All right, that's good.
Did I install the
That's-
ceiling fan? I didn't install the ceiling fan now.
Ceiling fan.
I wouldn't know anything about installing a ceiling fan.
Until it falls down, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay, so I think we're on a game plan. Let's get some people, let's get the committee in here to make us feel like, we can clarify some of this stuff that's concerning.
And we really didn't go over that in the public hearing.
Yeah.
This didn't get much feedback from the public.
And
I would like council to be better informed
In
before
all
going
fairness,
into this.
I think you're right. Me and Patrick been to a mess of meetings with the election, or the electrical board. So, I think it's a good idea.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Mm-hmm, no problem. Okay, and next on the agenda is the amendment for the the real property tax. Martha, you want to come on up?
Good evening, Council. Martha Sparks, Finance Director for Talbot County. What you have before you is a request for Council's approval of the, let's call it the 2024-2025 assessment year property tax abatements. We did not have any new requests from any new agencies. Last year, the total amount of the requests were $58,367, and this year the amount of the requests were $159,891.
Okay.
Council have any questions?
Any questions, council?
And we have that extensive list before us, which is little changed from previous years.
That is correct. The list has little changed, but the tax abatement amounts are larger because our taxes have gone up. This does reflect the education supplement, as well as it incorporates our total property tax abatement.
Okay, all right, great.
And
Okay.
Martha, question,
Yes.
just one question.
Yes.
So the property tax abatement, is that for properties with structures and vacant properties as well, or?
That is correct. This is for properties, these abatements are in accordance with Maryland state law, and we do have some that are also follow into our local code, but the state Maryland property tax code is 9-201, 9-301, and 9-322, and it follows those, and in some of those, 322 is specific to Talbot County, and it specifically mentions particular 322 is Academy of the Arts, Chesapeake Audubon Society. So it is for land as well, because I believe that that's what some of the, I'm not as familiar with all of these properties, but I believe that the Chesapeake Audubon Society, the Pickering Creek, I believe some of those are not improved buildings. Some of us are.
In fact, I suspect that most of these are not improved. If you've got a property that is being used for mission purposes, it won't even make this list. And these are properties in many cases that have been, am I correct, that have been purchased for future use?
Well, not necessarily, because
okay.
the Tuckahoe Steam and Gas Association is listed on here, and they do have improvements to that property.
Okay.
So it is a mix.
Okay.
I'm not sure, I mean, if you, I'm not sure how, I don't have the exact details of all of the properties on what's improved and what's not improved to be able to give that to you, but it is a mix of them.
But there are many that are already taken. We have to take action on certain ones. There are many nonprofits that own properties and use them for mission purposes where the law already protects them on this. They're not assessed. They're not in the mix at all.
That is correct.
Okay. I'll move the abatements as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to, Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, sounds good, Martha, appreciate it. All right, now we got Jess stuff. Okay?
All right, I'm serving for Mr. Stamp tonight.
Yep.
He's out of town, but there are no board and committee appointments this evening. Our first request is from the Roads Department, who are requesting to utilize fiscal year 25 capital budget funds to purchase a Vermeer hydro vacuum excavator. They are requesting to purchase that at a cost of $54,950 from Vermeer, utilizing the Sourcewell contract, and there are sufficient funds in the budget.
Okay. Any questions?
Nope, motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to go ahead and buy the excavator. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay.
Great, next, Ray is gonna give me a hand. This is a request to award bid 2211, which is the Royal Oak Pump Station construction, change orders 1 and 2.
Yeah, Council, this is change orders 1 and 2. Basically, we've exceeded our contingency. Ultimately, what had happened is we had 2 items. One is the 24-hour storage vault was really going to be a 72-inch RCP pipe, or reinforced concrete pipe. We ended up having to go to a box culvert and then work with Gillespie out of Chestertown and have that redesigned to go ahead and do a box culvert. Unfortunately, again, we've exceeded our contingency item for that, and that was change order number 1. And then change order number 2, SHA came back. We were to install we installed a 12-inch reinforced concrete pipe, and they wanted a 15-inch along Maryland Route 329. So that's where that additional cost came in on that.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Clark, because of the proximity of this project to a well-traveled state highway, we get constituent questions about this one. How are we on the schedule for this one?
We are, I think right now, we have 2 situations out on 329. We currently have a staging area for Schumer Incorporated. That should be wrapped up hopefully by October. So we're hoping that'll be taken care of. The pump station actually was turned over and has been, we are operating it, that station at this point in time. I would say Ritalik and Sons, which is the contractor for us, is doing the installation of 2 more air release valves along the force main route from the Royal Oak Pump Station to St. Michael's, and we're hoping to have that wrapped up as well by October.
Thank you.
Good. Any other questions, council?
And
Okay.
just for the record, the cost of both of these change orders is $102,453.
Okay.
And it will be paid for by the users.
Okay. All right. So we got a motion second, Madam.
We do?
I thought, no, not yet.
I'll move
Okay.
to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Great.
Mhm.
Next, we have a request from the Department of Public Works to award bid 2410, St. Michael's Library expansion and renovation located at 106 Fremont Street in St. Michael's.
Yes, Council,
Yep.
on September 12th, we received bids, 7 bids for the St. Michael's library expansion as well as renovation. Of the 7 bids, 3 bids were basically found to be non-responsive. At this point in time, the low bidder, which is Keller Brothers out of Salisbury, were, I guess, based upon the recommendation we did receive from Davis Bone Fidel, the architect, looking at an award to Keller Brothers in the amount of $5,295,750. That would include ad alternates number 1 and 2. The base bid was actually $5,196,900.
Okay, so I did have a few questions on this in council's consideration, if you would, if possibly. Ray, my thoughts were, it's low bid, and that's fine. We all want to save money, but we've never used this contractor before. Okay.
Yeah, Keller Brothers is not, to my knowledge, has not done work for Talbot County.
Yeah, so you know, there's a few more bidders on that bid. So what I'd like to see, if it was okay with council, is it reasonable to go back and reevaluate this situation in my eyes to just to make sure we're doing the right thing. All I'm asking is, I think a couple of the bidders didn't have the proper stuff in place. So, you know, do you see any harm going back and asking them?
No. I do not. I mean, from our standpoint, council, we can go back and make sure everything's, we got all the right information. I can provide that to you as well.
And if Keller is the right contractor, that's fine.
That's fine.
I just rather do a little bit more due diligence, just to make sure, because this is a new contractor. You know, we've been years trying to get St. Michael's straight, so I'm just a little cautious, and I don't want to delay anything. That's for sure. And she's smiling back there. She knows that. So I would just like to maybe vote on this and make sure that you come back to us next meeting and everybody's in good shape. Yep, come on up. You're not going to yell at me, are you? Okay.
I just wanted to say that we had contacted 4 companies or entities that had used Keller's services, and I had only heard back from one, which was Charles County Public Schools.
Okay.
And they indicated that they had done a lot of work for them. They were positive about them and that they were continuing to contract with them. But again, I haven't heard from the other 3, and I would like to hear from the other 3 and understand what kind of work quality they had with them.
Yeah, right.
So definitely would like the extra time. I will say we are on a tight deadline because of the grant, and Department of Budget and Management continues to make sure that this project's moving forward in a orderly fashion.
Sure.
So
I appreciate it, Dana. If you and Ray could just get together in the next couple of weeks, and you know, if we can find a few more people that are, you know, that are satisfied with them, and we get the pricing straight, and you know, let's just make sure we got it's not going to harm anything for 2 weeks.
No.
Is that okay?
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Just to confirm, Mr. Clark, the moving this to our October 8th meeting, giving you time to do this confirmation of recommendations and such for the low bidder won't seriously delay the mobilization.
No, the 2 weeks would be fine, in my opinion. At this point in time, we can work to get the information from the contractors as well as work with our architect, which is Davis Bowen Fredell, and provide that information to the council at the next meeting.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Do we need action to move that to the table?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
That's direction.
That gives you direction.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll add it to the October 8th.
Okay, that'd be great. Okay.
Lastly, this evening, recommendation to award bid 2414 EMS North Station in Cordova, design build proposal. And if Brian LaCates might want to come up and join Ray, I know Mr. Stamp is sad to miss this award. This is a project near and dear to his heart.
Well, council, we again, on August, I think it's 29th, we received 3 bids for this project. The low bid was received from Industrial Engineering Company in the amount of $1,688,000. We did review the bids in comparison to our funding availability of funding. It is under the availability of funding. In addition to that, they also have identified that they could complete the project within about 6 months after receiving the necessary permits, which is basically one of the fastest time frames that we've received from all of the 3 bidders. In that, I would also note that Industrial Engineering Company Incorporated is doing a EMS station in Kent County, and they have done apparently several stations throughout the state of Maryland. So at this point in time, Brian and I met with one of the representatives of Industrial Engineering Company, and I think based upon that, I think feel very confident or comfortable in recommending we award this to Industrial Engineering Company.
Okay. Any questions, council? Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the bid as recommended by staff.
Second.
Okay. We got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
All right, let's get rolling.
Thank you for your
Let's get
support.
rolling.
Guys.
Okay. Okay. All right. So right now, we're going to move into public comments.
And we have 2 people signed up for public comment. First one, Terrence Bernard.
Hello, everyone. Terrence
Hey.
Bernard,
Hey.
Easton, Maryland. My topic tonight that I signed in, I put United States of America flag. And that came up after attending numerous Board of Election meetings here in Talbot County. And I realized there isn't a flag, United States flag in there, and I thought it would be very appropriate for them to have a flag in there. That's the elections throughout the United States of America, but apparently it wasn't received as that. You have a flag, looks great, we say the Pledge of Allegiance. Town Council or the town of Easton has a flag. Board of Elections, I go to meetings also, they have a flag, and proud, you know, that's the founding of our country, and they came up with the flag. I did review the minutes from the Talbot County Board of Elections dated July 17, 20 of 24. And in here, the director states that Mr. Bernard mentioned the need for a flag at meetings. And then, 1, 2, the third sentence, Ms. Stafford, whom is the director there, Tammy Stafford, stated that since this is a county facility, the request for a flag needs to be submitted to the county council. I printed this off a couple weeks ago, and I made my notations on here and 3 other comments, but tonight what I want to focus on is the flag of the United States of America. I'm just trying to see one in there. I'm a proud American, you are too. If you'd like a copy, I can give you a copy, but it has my personal notes in it that I was saving some paper, and unfortunately, they're in there also. Like another item that I'll say, if I end up giving you a copy, it has in here about, one day I decided to take a picture, as I have in here before. And I was told immediately by the director, Tammy Stafford, you can't take a picture in here. And then I made a comment that I've taken them at the county, city board of elections, and the Board of Education. And that was my first negative response from anyone. And then the attorney stepped up and said, well, I can give you some information at the end of the meeting. And then she decided to disclose there that I am allowed to take, or me, but a citizen public meeting is allowed to take pictures. But I don't want to get sidetracked here. The main item focus was, I went to a lot of meetings, and each one I asked, can you get a flag here for the United States of America? I said, I'll even buy one. Someone had mentioned that there's probably a delegate or senator that could get one and hand it off to them or so forth. And that's what I'm asking your assistance for, help or understanding for. If that's your building, and that's what she says.
Okay.
But when I get dressed in the morning, I put on whatever color socks I want on, and
Yep.
still go on with it. So if that's a building they're using, I don't understand what would be inappropriate with the director just seeing that a flag get put in there, but now it's left up to a citizen to come to the county council and request, can we get a United States of America flag in there, please?
Well, thank you, Terrence. I appreciate you bringing that to attention, and we'll talk about that as council.
Do you want a paper, or you're fine?
I think we're fine.
I stated
Are
the
we
date.
fine?
I stated the date.
No, are we fine? Do you?
Okay.
Yeah.
He can submit it. Yeah.
That's the minutes from July 17th,
Yeah, just
2024.
you can take it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I'd appreciate it. Yeah, why don't you just give it to Jess? Okay.
And yellow's how I had it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terrence. I appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you. Next is Wes Haygood.
Overcome by events, I thought I had to sign up.
Already, very good. So that is all who have signed up for public comment.
Okay. Anybody else would like to come up and say anything? Okay. Okay. All right. Let's kind of move on to council comments. I'll start over here with Keisha.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Put me on the spot.
Okay.
Yeah, I just glad that the Frederick Douglass Honor Society came in to make the community aware of the event on Saturday, and certainly look forward to celebrating Mr. Tilghman's week in October as well. So just encourage the community just to keep eyes open for events that will be taking place with that. And that's all I have, I think, for tonight. Yeah, good meeting. Thank you, Mr. President.
I just wanted to clarify to President and Mr. Stepp my perspective on my comment about hearsay. And what I was thinking is, in my class in evidence in law school, our professors started off by telling this trope, which was that a professor who was teaching evidence was lecturing to the class, and a man came in the building, stabbed him, and ran out. And the whole class just shudders. And then the professor got up, and he asked the class of 30 to tell what they saw. And he got 30 different versions of what was seen. And the purpose of that was to learn that it's not only evidence or what you see, but it's a bigger picture in terms of taking legal action on something. And that's where I was coming from. I wasn't questioning the veracity of what you saw. So I just wanted to clear the record.
I appreciate that, but when we got done with that, I was done. I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Yep, no
wanted to
problem.
explain.
I appreciate it.
Well, if anybody isn't aware, we do have an election coming up, and ballots will soon be distributed, and at the very bottom of our ballots in Talbot County will be a ballot question A, which will concern a charter amendment to further extend a 1 penny, an allowable 1 extra penny on the property tax that this council may levy. We are governed by a 2% cap on the increase in the property tax collected. This adds a little supplement, which we approved as voters a few years ago. This will extend that approval for another 7 years, with the note that this has been needed in the past to support public safety, to support the increased salaries for our sheriff's deputies, to be able to recruit and retain for that department, to support increased salaries for our emergency services personnel, for corrections officers, for our 9/11 dispatch staff. All areas where we've had difficulty recruiting and retaining staff. In addition, in a couple of those areas, we've used those funds to bolster the retirement packages for some of those employees, for our sheriff's deputies, for our paramedics, and soon we're expecting to do the same for our correctional officers, again, in order to recruit and retain those critically important public safety positions. We may or may not need to do that. Inflation is coming down. We hope that we don't need to do that. But if this tool is necessary to protect public safety, the future of public safety in this county, all 5 of us on this council voted to put that ballot question on your ballot. And I'm asking every Talbot County citizen, as you did just a few years ago, to vote yes, to say yes, public safety is important. Don't use this tool if you need it, but here's this tool if we need to protect public safety. Thank you for your vote.
Thank you, Mr. Lesher. Mr. Scott.
I will, I'll just echo what Mr. Lesher just said and ask for the county's support, again, as they did a few years ago for that amendment question on the ballot to modify our timeline on that penny. So I will second that.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be here for a few minutes, so I appreciate everyone's patience. So I'll start with just a couple events. I wanted to thank the Constitution and Citizenship folks who led the ceremony for allowing us to attend that. That was a wonderful event. It was also great to deliver Years of Service awards to our county employees, some of which I believe made up to 40 years or 45 years of service, I think was our top one. 40 years of service here in Talbot County. So that was absolutely wonderful to hand those out to our folks and celebrate their time here within the county. And then it was also great to last night be asked to be a part of the Board of Education candidate forum held at the Firehouse. That was nice to hear what those candidates had to say for our citizens here. So jumping into some things that we've already spoke about here. So I hope that I can clarify some of what was said earlier in regards to my ask for a letter. So I'd like to just make a point, Lynn, you had mentioned that about a legal action. That letter was to contain no legal action at all. So I just wanted to say that it was just basically, again, a letter that would state to follow the law, right? I encourage all of our members here, especially those who did not attend or have not attended any of our Board of Elections meetings, to attend and see what we had witnessed today, what Councilmember Callahan and I that had witnessed today. So I'd encourage you guys to attend those meetings and see firsthand what we're saying. So that said, I've prepared a statement here that I'm going to go ahead and read from my laptop. It's going to take a few minutes. So again, thank you for bearing with me. I'd like to first offer a sincerest thank you to the citizens of Talbot County who brought their initial concerns of a partisan imbalance of elections judges in Talbot County to me. What I've personally heard and witnessed over the previous weeks has been very concerning and, to be frank, nothing short of disturbing. I feel I have a duty to inform all Talbot County citizens of what I witnessed, as well as request specific actions for remediation. I'd like to go through just a brief recent timeline to provide the public just a glimpse of context. September 12, 2024, I sent an email to Talbot County Elections Director requesting the breakdown of Democrat and Republican election judges and any remediation plans if there was indeed an imbalance. To date, I've only received one reply from the Talbot County Elections Director without the contained information requested. September 18th, 2024, I attended the Talbot County Board of Elections monthly meeting. At that meeting, I witnessed our Talbot County Elections Director want to withhold the same information I requested from her own board, wanting to hide behind the fact that the judge counts are a fluid, ever-evolving number, and returning judges are financially rewarded for returning as repeat judges, and also training requirements. Eventually, after enough pressure from one Talbot County Board of Elections member, the Talbot County Elections Director released the current numbers of 62 Democrats, 50 Republicans, and 11 unaffiliated. On the 24th, today, I attended the Talbot County Board of Elections special meeting today, along with Council President Callahan, where we witnessed the most egregious behavior of all, the unwillingness of 3 out of 4 Talbot County Elections Board voting members desire to follow the lead of Talbot County Elections Director and blatantly disregard elections law by not supporting a letter to the voters of Talbot County that confirms Talbot County's compliance with Maryland election law. A fact. With general election in-person voting beginning 1 month from today, Talbot County is not in compliance with Maryland election law 10-201 and 10-202, which discusses the party affiliation breakdowns and residency requirements of election judges. Another fact. The Talbot County Board of Elections is also the Talbot County Board of Canvassers and have taken an oath of office that reads as follows. Brought that with me here. I, where it would be support your name, do swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland and support the Constitution and laws thereof. Don't really need to go any further than that, but I will. And that I will, to the best of my skill and judgment, diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice, execute the office of Talbot County Canvasser, according to the Constitution and laws of this state. And that I will canvass and declare all the votes cast truthfully and will perform all other duties of the position of a member of the Board of Canvassers as required by law. Another fact. The Talbot County Elections Director has turned down numerous Republican judge applications for the 2024 election, stating that they will keep them on file for 2026.
No.
There has been an ongoing
Patrick,
effort by...
excuse me, is this appropriate to make accusations as a comments of
Excuse me, ma'am, it's
counsel?
not your turn to speak. I believe it's mine.
I'm calling the question.
There has been an ongoing effort by the Talbot County Republican Central Committee for months to assist the Talbot County Elections Director in recruiting Republican judges. The Talbot County Elections Director is simply attempting to squash their helpful efforts. My asks here are simple. To our Talbot County Elections Director. Excuse me. To our Talbot County Elections Director, follow the law, do your job, be transparent, and train more Republican election judges immediately and have them ready to work our general election. You have a stack of applications from the efforts of the Talbot County Republican Central Committee and bring Talbot County in compliance with Maryland election law 10-201 and 10-202. To our Talbot County Elections Board, follow the law, do your job, be transparent, follow the sound advice of your counsel, and hold our Talbot County Elections Director accountable to the citizens of Talbot County. To the 3 board elections members who just today voted against a clear conscience motions in compliance with state law, I ask that you remember your oath and reconsider actions that will convince voters in Talbot County of an honest, free, and fair election. I'll close with 2 last points. 1, a lack of preparedness, action, or ignorance by any county board or committee never affords the availability to circumvent ethics, your oath, or law. Please be on notice that your fellow citizens who serve you are watching you. And 2, I'd like to thank those in our community who are paying attention and bringing concerns like these to your elected officials. Again, it's your First Amendment constitutional right, which your county council is sworn to uphold. Thank you for exercising it.
Okay, appreciate it. All right. All right.
You have any remarks yourself?
Yes. I got a lot of remarks, but I'm not going to get into it. That's for sure. Let's enjoy the Frederick Douglass Saturday and come together and make things positive and move on from this. And Mr. Stepp, I feel your pain. I hear you. I was there. And I understand what you're saying. So hopefully we can get to the bottom of this.
I hope so as well.
And we can move on from this and get that straight for citizens. That's for sure. That's it.
The County Council's next meeting will be held on Tuesday, October 8th, beginning at 6 o'clock p.m. The council will be convening an open session at 4:30 p.m. and then adjourning into closed session as listed on the statement for closing that meeting. On Tuesday, October 1st at 3:30 p.m., the council will be meeting with Senator Mounts, Delegate Adams, and Delegate Hutchinson to discuss the upcoming state legislative session. The meeting will be held here in the Bradley Meeting Room and is open to the public. Therefore, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting and reconvene as noted?
So moved.
Second. Okay, we got a motion second to adjourn. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Yes.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Double aye.